Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. Today we're in the kitchen. We're starting out in the kitchen. I am making a, cracks me up every single time I have a cupboard door I need to close. But this is a real kitchen. It's a working kitchen, and so, you know, there's that. But I am today making my chocolate sourdough discard bread. And so I will flip you guys around here and let you see the recipe to it. How is the prepping going for Thanksgiving? Are you guys all ready? Do you guys do a traditional Thanksgiving, or do you do something different? We do a traditional Thanksgiving here. That's actually one of the things I'm gonna do today. Is I'm gonna make sure that I know when I need to start my sourdough sweet Hawaiian rolls, so that I'm not behind the 8 ball on that. But just finding this, here it is. There you go. In case you want to screenshot that, that's what we're making today. It has gone through the first steps, so I have added the discard, the flour, the water, and the cocoa powder, mixed it up until it turned into a shaggy dough, and then I let it sit for about 30 minutes, and now it's time to add the other ingredients. Okay, here it is. And today, for our extra additives, because you can always switch up your additives, I added 25 grams of chocolate chips, 50 grams of coconut flakes, and 25 grams of chopped almonds. That was my choice. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. These last 3 ingredients, you can mix them and match them. If you want to do, you know, walnut raisin, you can do that. You can mix it however you want. This is just one that I found that I liked, and so I use that as kind of a reference. But it's basically 100 grams of additives, whatever you choose it to be. Sometimes I do chocolate chip and peanut butter. Completely up to you, and that is the joy of baking in your own kitchen. You can do whatever the heck you want and see how it comes out. And that's also the joy of sourdough discard. Sourdough discard it's our throwaway from our sourdough, right? So it's, you know, it's our discard. So we generate it freely, and if you're gonna have sourdough bread, you're gonna generate discard. So it's okay if, you know, something doesn't work out. But this bread I know does work out. So, and we're gonna mix it for 6 minutes till it all comes together. This loaf, the chocolate loaf, tends to be sometimes a little bit wetter than the others. It is a little bit more cakey, and that's just something that I've learned is okay. It still cuts good, tastes good, all of that. So. Okay, it is done. See, it's a little bit more cakey than my other ones come out. And that's okay. Okay, some time has passed. We decided that we wanted to go check out the livestock auction today. So my bread got a little bit overproofed, but alas, it is ready to shape and get it into the pan for its second rise. And there it is, and we'll let it rise for another hour. And while we were gone, my sourdough starter has more than doubled in size, so I'm gonna go ahead and start a batch of sourdough. Here is the recipe that we are gonna do. This is just my normal original sourdough loaf. 100 grams of sourdough starter, 325 grams of water, 475 grams of flour, and 10 grams of salt. Mix all together to form a shaggy dough, and then I'll let this rest for 30 minutes before I will start my stretch and folds. Now it is time to feed what is left of my sourdough starter for the next bread. Looks like I have 68 grams of sourdough starter, so I'm just gonna go ahead and double this basically. I'm gonna add 68 grams of water and 68 grams of flour, so that technically would be tripling it, I guess. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not going to cut it in half and discard it, because I basically just took half of it out to use in a loaf of bread. So I'm just gonna feed all of what is left. So I'll add 68 grams of water and 68 grams of flour to this. Okay, flour and water added, and now we'll just mix it up. Into a jar she went, and now I'll just place it where it needs to be. And now the rubber band is on her, so I'll know when she doubles in size again. Put her right back there on the counter. Okay, and while we're waiting and while we're letting the bread stuff do its thing, I actually just checked my weather today while we were on our way to town and realized that we are going to have our first frost. So the garden needs to be completely picked. And Mr. Wonderful's probably gonna help me do that because we have a lot to pick. I'm gonna take you guys out there and show you what we have to pick. And then we're gonna bust our butts and pick the garden, and then I'll show you the end result of the harvest that we get, the end of summer harvest, if you will, which is crazy. It's November 25th, you guys, and I'm gonna be harvesting tomatoes today. It's amazing. It's why I moved here, and I'm just so blessed. So let's go out and see what there is to harvest in the garden. And then it's super windy, so I'm not gonna record the whole thing, but I'll show you what we get when we're all done. First things first, we have these Trepidera Werners. These are all my hot peppers. We have datils. There's some serranos here to harvest. We have some jalapenos to harvest. There's some little banana peppers. So I'm gonna get all these harvested. These are pizza peppers. All right. Picked everything that I'm gonna pick off of these. And this is what we have. Just a small amount, but this might actually make another batch of hot sauce, and then that's a good amount of jalapenos. So it's almost a quart. So that's good. Okay, now that that's done, let's go through the big raised bed garden and see everything that we have out here to pick. We have a ton of green cherry tomatoes. But I will save those and pick those with the green tomatoes. I mean, look at that. Have some red. The Swiss chard is hardy, so we don't need to worry about that. We have quite a few, lots of green tomatoes, but also some decent sized red ones. Got some splits, but that's okay. This is the bed that I didn't think was going to do anything. It's got a bunch of green tomatoes in it to pick. I don't think we have anything red. Looks like we've got some red here. That one looks edible. Okay, moving on to peppers. Some of these have gone too far. Most of these on this plant have. They'll make good chicken food. These are not jalapenos. Bunch of red cherry tomatoes. Some great big bell peppers. And a lot of these mini bells. Looks like we've got some of the, I think this is Barry's Crazy Cherry, and then some of the pear cherry tomatoes. Got some orange bell peppers. Quite a few shishitos to harvest. This is actually a violet bell pepper, but it ripens all the way to red. It's supposed to be. This is what is on the seed pack, and it's called Violet Sparkles. It's a very yummy pepper. More jalapenos. More jalapenos that have ripened to red. Poblanos. There's a mess of those. My leeks, and I think I might leave these just because they can handle the frost, and I'm gonna have a lot to go through as far as putting things up, so I might leave the leeks. Just a couple banana peppers to add to the pepper mix. Got a few eggplants. Look at that cute little eggplant. More pear cherry tomatoes. And just a whole bunch of red tomatoes. So this is the tub garden, and it was actually here before the new raised bed garden. And then, of course, that's the raised bed garden. So I'm gonna get to work. But first, I don't know if you heard it or not, my alarm went off. I've got to go stretch and fold bread. So I'm gonna do that. And also, in exciting news,
look at the baby Brussels sprouts. Aren't they cute?
these are the Brussels sprouts.
They're so cute.
Okay, it's time to preheat our oven, 350 for our chocolate loaf. Okay, our oven is preheated. Put our loaf of bread in. And we'll bake that for 40 minutes. Okay, you guys, we're all done harvesting. There's still a lot of food out here, but I am of the mind that it can feed the chickens, and everything that we left, we picked everything that didn't have a bad spot. And so like the peppers, when they get older, they start to crack a little bit, and they're superficial cracks, but they're just not pretty to sell at the farm stand, and they make great chicken food. And there's some tomatoes with splits, but I'll take you up here and show you our harvest. But this is goodbye to the summer garden, and it's sad, but it's also something to embrace the season of rest. And the wintertime garden is just so much more hands-off and less pressure. So Goodbye, beautiful garden. Until next year. So I think I have everything here. This is one basket of green tomatoes. This is the second, I would say, half of a 5-gallon bucket of green tomatoes. This is the red tomato section. These are our peppers we just took because these are all of our mild peppers, so we just put them all together. I kind of can distinguish in between them. This is a California Wonder. I want to say these are called Orange Sunset. Bell pepper. These are shishitos, as well as these. These red ones are also, come on little guy, shishitos. I'm not sure what that little dude is. So a whole bunch of shishitos in here. Looks like there's some on the bottom, jalapenos. I picked a good portion of the jalapenos. These are poblanos. We have the eggplant. These are those violet sparkle peppers. Jalapenos. This is the splitting that I'm talking about. It's superficial, doesn't change the flavor, but it just doesn't look great. There's a couple banana peppers in here. It doesn't seem like this should be all. I might have to go look for another. I don't think I have another basket out here. And then just a few potatoes. So that is the whole. And now it's just a matter of figuring out what to do. Oh, and these little dudes, these were so cool. These are mini bells or snacking bell peppers, and they are so tasty. There's so many of them in here too. Sorry, I got the sniffles, you guys. It's cold out here. So we will take, just to give you just kind of a quick idea of what we're going to do with these. A lot of them, of course, are going to end up at the farm stand first. And if they don't sell, then I'll process them. The green tomatoes are going to get turned into pickled green tomatoes, both dill and sweet. Fingers crossed, that's my goal. The red tomatoes, we'll eat those fresh and, you know, sell them at the farm stand. There's not a ton of them, so I am pretty confident that we'll be able to go through those. The peppers, I'm going to take a lot of them. I'm going to dice them and freeze them so that we can just have a bag of, you know, of frozen peppers to take out for soups, spaghetti sauce, to put on top of pizza, that kind of thing. I am going to try to do diced green chilies, like potentially, I think the poblanos would be a really good candidate for that. I think that if we put them on the smoker and put a good char on them, and then dice them up and can them as diced green chilies in little 4-ounce jars, I think that we will really enjoy those and go through those in the wintertime. You know, the shishito peppers, I think they're just going to kind of go in the mix of the diced, you know, one way or another, whether they go in the green chilies or the frozen. The eggplants that are in these buckets, I will turn them. We don't really like eggplant. I grow them because they're beautiful, and the dogs like them. So I will dice them up, whatever doesn't sell, and turn them into dog food. The hot peppers, hot sauces, dehydrated, you know, for red pepper flakes, and that's it. So that's the plan. Potatoes obviously we'll eat. So that's the game plan for this, and I'm excited that this is the last harvest, and excited for the next chapter of the garden, and to start getting the gardens cleaned up, turned around, and ready for spring planting, which is really not that far away. Okay, our bread is ready to come out of the oven. Boy, that looks good. You guys, thank you so much for coming along with me today in the garden and in the kitchen. I hope you had a beautiful day. I'll catch you on the next one. Yours truly.